Hello and welcome to this lunchtime stream because I guess that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna try that for a while. I love the live stream format. I hope some people is gonna join in chat. Uh, First thing first, before we begin, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow I'm gonna have like a sorry for that. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a live stream, which is gonna be the second episode of the RPG Design Talk, and my guest is gonna be the people from the Red Room. So join me tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be at 1500 EDT, so 3 p.m. Eastern time for Americans. And so the people from the Red Room, we're going to talk about their product and their game design philosophy and their impetus for creation, all this kind of stuff. If you haven't seen last week's episode with Victor, you can go back and watch it. This kind of be the same kind of a talk I'm hoping to have with the people from the Red Room. I hope to meet other creator. That's something that I'm always interested in, game design and stuff like that. So I've talked with people that are into that. So now that this is out of the way, what I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to go with you and propose an idea for a world setting and ask if this setting is political, because this is a gaming channel and I try not to go too much in politics, and also, let's face it, I'm not allowed to talk politics on YouTube. That would get me banned real quick. But I also don't hide my politics. I'm not the kind of guy that say keep politics out of gaming, because if we do that once, like we might do that, but the other side won't. So the normies, the people out there like buying RPG product and stuff like that, they're always gonna be exposed to only one side of the politics. Is that a good thing? I doubt it. Like, yeah, it can be good to have some products that are free of politics, but not all of the are gonna be. And it does matter in the culture war. And I also have this whole question about what is political. I would say that we don't want to include like current event, because one, those don't really matter. I'm more interested into idea and stuff like that. And also, if we current event are gonna age the setting quite a bit, or a product quite a bit, whatever that is. So I wanted to present a setting idea, and I wanted to tell me when it gets too political. I think it is inspired by current event in a way, but I think it's still a good idea. Hello, Doodle Squatch. Thanks you for joining. What setting? We're gonna discuss that right away. So let me try that here. All right, tell me if you can see that. I can, if you can, I can try to zoom in and stuff like that. If it's too small, is it too small? Let's try to zoom in a bit. So a setting idea. I hope the keyboard's not gonna be too loud. I got like those mechanical keyboard because I like to write, I guess. I like to think I'm a writer, so you get the mechanical keyboard. So what I wanted to work today was a urban setting, which is gonna be like a urban medieval fantasy setting. Oh, now you can also see that I cannot write. Make a lot of typo and mistake. Our urban medieval setting. So this is going to be where the campaign will start. What would be special with this setting is that orcs live among humans. Good afternoon, Flady. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So orcs live. Why did I put a comma there? Orcs live amongst humans, but orcs. Oh, what's that? Add some scene. I don't want that. I don't know what I pressed. There, hide. But orcs are not people. They are monsters. That's unreadable. They are orcs, basically. Da-da-da-da. Let's change the color there. Here. Hello, Man of War. Nice seeing you. Orcs have feeling too. They do have feeling. They're just not the same as human feeling. You know, hunger and anger are feelings as well, I guess. Let's. Oh no, they're all gonna be like this shit color. Let's do that. Humans have been tricked into accepting orcs into their cities. So you see where I'm going with that? I think that's a good idea for a setting. I wish I could just do that on the fly, make them all the same color. I think that's a good idea for a setting. It's not political until the orcs are throwing gang sign. All right, then let's keep going. Let's see if we can hit that mark. I'll have to change the color of them. Let me, if I expand that, I can go in the view, map, customize team, level 2, here, level 3, here. I don't know if I'm gonna have any level 3. This is a mind map. It's a web program. If you're not, if you've never seen that, I don't know if it's good. I don't know if I would recommend it. So, and now orcs are causing mayhem in the cities. And the people, most people try really hard to not point it out. They act like if nothing happens. I think that's a cool setting. You know, you can throw the adventurer if you want to have like some kind of like urban setting in a medieval fantasy. Like you got like this empire, they have all those big cities, and now the orcs have been tricked into living in the cities, or people have been tricked into letting the orcs live into their city. Like this whole like, orcs are people too. Or orcs have feeling too. Like it's something that is pushed now in the RPG community by the Sparkle Troll, we would say, and people want to play orc and stuff like that. That are going to be interesting in that setting if you have one of your player that want to play an orc, because maybe not all orc are the same. You know, they're still overall a monster race that do monstrous thing, but you could have like a range of people, a range of monstrous behavior in those people. Maybe some are pretty alright, but overall they're causing mayhem. So of course, if you are aware of what's happening in mostly in America, but in a lot of, not mostly in America, in a lot of into the big cities in the West now. Even if you go to Paris and stuff like that, maybe you could see some parallel there. Or if you don't, then maybe you're in the most people there in this last in this last box. Just like we were tricked into living into city and abandoning farming and normal living. Well, that's something I can certainly relate to. I think the city living is very harmful for the human spirit. It's like that's good for it's living like an insect. But I'm this guy living out there in the woods, so course, I would think that. So already now we have a setting. We have like something that with a central conflict, and you can throw the player and the PCs into that, and then you got a situation happening, something that is ongoing, and from there where they want to go, you can like I said, I often like to have like a central conflict that is bigger than the PC, especially at the starting of a campaign, and it's something that's going to impact how what happened with the PC and how the PCs interact with the world, but it's not something they can have a direct impact on it right away. It's just a setting you put there, and then you have like some other adventure that can be related to that, or that just happen inside of that. If we want to go maybe a level deeper, we can look at who's doing the tricking. You know what I'm saying? Like humans have been tricked into letting the orcs in. Who is doing this tricking? Let's say that the gnomes, or how you tell me if I go like too deep, if I make like too deep cut. Gnomes or inserted themselves deep into the politics of the empire. Doodle Squatch make a good point. There used to be a lot of art and architecture that uplifted the human spirit in cities, but not now not so much. That is true. Something that also that's something that we could even integrate in that setting there when we go with the gnomes there. Now they try to make architecture that is trying to bring the human spirit down. So Gnome have inserted themselves into deep into the politics of the empire. Gnomes are crafty and Master of Illusion and Charm. Able to. They use their technology. The technology and magic to control the people. Another level there. Let's change the color as well. That's unreadable. They created and control the printing press. So you know where it's going, eh? Well, I'm not being very subtle about it. It's the same color, but whatever. Oops, I showed you this. Yeah. Doodle Squatch gets it. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to go back here. Let's say that so we have this setting and this problem that orcs have been brought to live amongst humans. So at first, that's if the players go deeper and start to try to solve this problem, then we can go into the intrigue. I talked Wednesday about tiers of play. You know, the first tiers, like maybe the players are just like living in that world. The PCs are just living in that world, and they are getting the consequence of those of this living arrangement, I guess. They get into conflict because there's a lot of conflicts going coming from this proximity. And now as they at some point as they start like making a name for themselves, solving some problem locally and stuff like that, maybe they can start investigating or trying to solve this situation. Maybe they realize that maybe the orcs are a monster race and maybe they shouldn't live amongst human. So they go in and investigate, and now they see, and now they figure out that the gnomes are the one that trick people into getting the orcs in. And they did it because the gnome really ate humans. And they're also greedy. Stealing the wealth of the empire. Da, 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 da. So you see where I'm going there? This is a setting that could be... No, I think it's an interesting place to adventure. You know, when I do game prep, I talk about that at some point. I don't usually do too much game prep. When I start a new campaign, I'm gonna have like some kind of like a setting like that with some conflict baked into it, and I like to have conflict being bigger than the PC at start. And as the PC progress in the campaign and they evolve and they make a name for themselves, then they can start interacting in those higher level situations. Usually that's pretty much where I would go with that. You know, I would just make this you got a situation there, then I would find like an adventure, a low level adventure inside that world that the player would interact with, would be appeal to interact with. And then from there I would go from where they go. But I already have an idea of what is the central conflict of this setting is. And of course this is like a higher level conflict. It's not super high level because it's still like inside an empire. It's like dynamic inside an empire. But it's still bigger than the player. If you have any idea where we could go next with that, in chat, feel free to contribute. I'm just having fun here. You know, I'm not gonna stream super long. I don't know if like usually I always say that I don't know if Angar is gonna stream. Angar hasn't been streaming lately. Usually he starts his show at 12:30. So I was just saying like maybe I can squeeze in, just do like this lunchtime stream pre-Angar. But he hasn't been streaming lately, so I don't know if we want to go longer, we can. But I just wanted to present an idea there of a setting that I think has political undertone. If you know, you know. I'm like, if you don't, I'm not gonna explain it. Then you can just enjoy a cool setting. But I still think like there's an interesting mechanic, interesting dynamic that can come from that setting. And that's kind of like that's always a question. You say, like, are you gonna, when people say, "Oh, keep politics out of the hobby," we can even go like even further. You know, like, no, I've been kicked out. I've been rounded up and kicked out of of another human kingdom a generation ago. Empire took them in. The gnome used that for sympathy. The program is a mind map. It's I'll write the name in the chat. Mind map. It's a online program, and it does what it does. I'm not familiar with it. I just like I knew about those like mind map program, and I thought it could be a fun way to, or a good way to present some idea like that on stream. I wouldn't like, I don't usually use those. I usually just like work in a text editor and like I usually work like in Kate. You know, there's like it's like Notepad for KDE because I'm a Linux guy. But that would be like quite boring on stream. So I say, oh, maybe this could be a more interesting way to present stuff, you know, and then I can move it around and make it unreadable. I can zoom in. Can you read? Can you read what is written there? You have to tell me if you can't. So, what else? What do you think? Would that be a cool setting for an adventure? Is that too political? Is that too on the nose? Hello, Justin. Oh, I wish you were there earlier. I'm sure Justin would have thought about that. I was working on a urban medieval fantasy setting where orcs live amongst humans, and while still being monster, the humans have been tricked into accepting them in their city. Now the orcs are causing mayhem. And gnomes are the one into that are putting this trickery behind. It would be impossible to keep politics out of games. That setting is too realistic. You see, that's a funny thing, you know. There's like orcs and gnomes, but yet it feels too realistic. I like, and that's the thing too. I like my setting to be realistic, like to have a lot of verisimilitude. I like them to be believable and stuff like that, and I like to, because that's the thing. If you at some point, if you want to keep completely politics out of setting, what can you do? You know, you go back to just the dungeon delving, where like, oh, there's monster, they're not people at all. You just go down and you kick the door and stuff like that. But those are very, almost in a way, like material conflict. Those monsters are just there to be killed or just there to be enemies. As soon as you want to interact with conflict, with drama, with people, with something that is not just like a dungeon delve and just like going out and killing people, taking loot and stuff like that, then you're gonna get into the political game. Add nuance. Not all blank are bad, but it won't save you. Leftists will recognize the tropes immediately. And that's something I discussed earlier as well. I said, like, yeah, like I said, maybe some of the PCs would be actually could even be orcs, because like you could have like a range of different people in there. It's just like the overall they're causing trouble. Of course, we, like, somebody was making the tweet on Twitter about being surgeon, not butcher. You know, no, yeah, you don't want to, you know, if you got like if you have like gangrene on your arm, you try to cut the part that is gangrene, but you try to save as much of the arm as you can. It's easy to keep politics out of game. Just take the Bender approach. What would be the Bender approach? Kill all humans? That's I don't know. If you want to expand on that. You're happy eating the bugs. Yeah, that's that would be like one, like, that's the thing too. Now, if we were to create a gnome character, that would be really like a pastiche of this Schwab guy. Then it would become very like into current event, and then I think that might be passing the line, even to my taste, because now I just like took it's like a what if scenario, taking like the general guideline of a situation, transposing it into fantasy. But if you start like including pastiche of real war, right, like a very specific event, like that's a general situation. If you want to involve like very specific event or people, then I think you would go like too far. And like I wouldn't say like, oh, there's a paladin that put his knees on an orc in the street, and on the neck of an orc in the street, and the orc die, and then like, yeah, that'd be too far. Like I wouldn't go like, I don't try to make like the exact parallel there. I just want to have like a general vibe, not necessarily even a jumping off point. You're just like, well, it's like the real world event or the jumping off point to create fantasy and think about like a hypothetical scenario and situation, and all the other with that. And especially when you and adding nuance, like somebody was mentioning, like a Doodle Squatch was mentioning before, adding nuance is not only a way to try to save yourself and try to pretend that you're not painting with a broad brush. It's also a way to make the setting much more engaging and much more interesting, because if there's no nuance, if like the orcs are just like plain bad and none of them are good, then all right, you just go like full on genocide. When you start adding nuance, then it becomes like a more interesting question, a more complex question. What do you do with them? Can you, I don't know, can you try to just make them have a certain behavior test, or maybe like, oh, if they commit a crime, then it's no tolerance? Do you do that for everybody? Do you do that just for the orcs? Do you do that for, when you start involving in politics, when there is nuance, and there is nuance in the world, in real life, then you have to consider things. It's a little more complex, and I think it's much more interesting. So that's about what I wanted to talk about today. If you got like other stuff you want to touch about, if you got any other suggestion, like I said, usually I don't do too much prep. That'd be like, I would have that, I would be ready to go for a campaign, just like, then the rest I would do on the fly and stuff like that. I would just think of a first adventure that is like very personal and a low tier. But yeah, I think that could be a cool setting. If you have anything to add, if you have any question in the chat, feel free to ask. I'm willing to hang out a bit. I have some errand to do. I have to go to the village later on, although I might not do it, because like I went to the village already this week, and twice in the same week is a bit much for me, like interacting with people in real life and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll just wait until next week. Doodle Squatch asks, how about a mass charm spell that keeps people from seeing the obvious? Magic is always the answer. I'm not a big fan of Sanderson. He did of his writing. He did some good class though about writing that are free, like what is his name, Brendan Sanderson. He got some good class on YouTube about writing. If you're interested in writing, that's a good. They're fun to watch. They're good to watch, like just in the background there when you do something else. But he got like this law about magic that say the capacity of solving a story. Ah, fuck! I'm gonna butcher that. In a satisfying manner with magic is dependent on how well the audience understand the magic. In D&D, magic's pretty understood because like player have access to it. But I'm not a big fan of like using those magic as a big solution. I think it's I think magic could be involved. You know what I would do with magic? I would yeah, that'd be interesting as well. Let's do that. Do I put that on the map? Yeah, let's put that on the map. What if we do some gnomes are using glamour spell to make themselves appear as fellow human? When disguised that way, the policy push seem to come from the inside. What about that? Oh, sorry for the dog. Relying on magic is like relying on the government. You will get results, you just might not like them in the long term. That's something I like as well. Magic shouldn't be like too reliable. There should be always an element of risk and sacrifice. I think there's 120 reasons for you to fully develop this scenario into a marketable product. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I like. I don't know how I would make up a setting book. Like I'm so not used to buy them and read them and stuff like that that I don't even know what would go into that. But if somebody want to do it, just, yeah, that could be done. Maybe if I would like somebody to work with, that'd be fun. Yeah, charm could be used. What about schooling? What if like there's some schooling for that is now mandatory for everybody, for every and the gnomes are involved in that as well. Maybe they haven't gotten themselves involved into the church. No, we have the Jesuit here. When we are in Catholicism, we have the Jesuit, but that are involved into schools, and that is like a religious institution that has been kind of taken over. So we could do that as well. And maybe there's also we can even go in the blackmail or death. Maybe like some people like in like if we go like if we do like an empire, maybe it's some kind of like a model after the Roman Empire. Let's do that here. Let's talk about the human empire. The human empire is modeled after late Rome. Modeled after late Rome, and there is an emperor that shares his power with senator many senators are indebted to the gnomes. Some senators are blackmailed by the gnomes. That's another way that another place that the adventure could take place. That's like, I'm often talking about seed for adventure. I think those could be a fun seed there. You want to go explore those situations. You want to have like a conflict that arises from there. It's a fertile ground, in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna call that a stream. I just wanted to expose well, I guess I wanted to talk about this idea of a setting. And like I said, I wanted to talk about like politics and setting. And if you're watching later on the video on demand, and I want to thank people that joined me in chat. It's always fun having people to shoot idea from. But I wanted to the other way. Let's do the map there. Oh, that's exactly the button I was looking for. So I can end and have kind of everything on screen there. There you go. So yeah, I just wanted to, if you're watching later on, let me know in the comment down below if that passed the line, because I think that's I think that's a good maybe it is a question too, like, are you making the setting, are you like getting into putting politics into your setting just for politics' sake, or does it make an interesting product, an interesting setting? I think that can be an important point to consider as well, because yeah, if you just do something for the sake of including politics, maybe that's inappropriate. But if you have like an actual story behind it and something that can actually be like a very playable, in my opinion, there setting, maybe that excuses a lot, maybe that justifies it a lot. Let me know. Maybe we should see more product like that, more product that push the line. Would that product send the left absolutely haywire? Yeah, of course. You would even like put a lot of like the right winger haywire, like people like, or right winger should put in quotation. Somebody like Pundit would see that and would freak out, would make a little tantrum online and stuff like that. But I think it could be fun. Thank you for watching. Just before leaving, I want to remind again for people that joined late that tomorrow, Saturday, at 1500 EDT, so 3 p.m. Eastern time for American, I'm gonna have the stream, the RPG Design Talk, second episode of RPG Design Talk, where I'm gonna talk with the people from the Red Room about their product, their creative process, their impetus for creation, game design philosophy, and stuff like that. I hope you're gonna join us in a great number. And thank you for watching. Thank you for people that joined me live. Have a good day and take care.